come to the front of the class. I have to get real serious right now for one moment. And I'm calling this my prophetic moment. And the reason I'm calling it my prophetic moment is because as a preacher and a pastor, an urban theologian, and a modern day prophet, I believe God he's raising up rather sons and daughters of Issachar. These are people who understand the times and know what the people of God ought to do. So I got to get serious for one moment, if you don't mind. And the seriousness revolves around being a watchman who gives a warning. Now, some of you came in here today, and you're not quite sure what you were feeling. Now, you heard the news, and something in you went quiet. Not because you don't care, because somewhere deep you expected this, the promise made, then broken. The victory won, then the victory hollowed out. And when it keeps happening, the body learns to go numb and it grows angry. Now we need to name that. And what I mean about naming that is what you're feeling, is not weakness. It's the weight of watching history repeat itself with new paperwork. Let me explain. I didn't come here to leave you in it. I came here to sound the trumpet. So the question is, Pastor Stowers, what in the world are you talking about? What in the world are we dealing with now? On April the 29th, 2026, the Supreme Court issued its ruling regarding Callais versus Louisiana. In a 6-3 decision, all 6 votes were from justices appointed by Republican presidents. And the court completed what began in 2013, you can fact check me, with Shelby County versus Holder, the systemic destruction of the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Stay with me. What took 300 years of oppression to construct what looked like madness. What took Selma and Birmingham and the blood of martyrs to legislate against, all of it has been largely unenforceable by 9 people in black robes, 6 of whom were placed there by a political party that spent decades engineering exactly this outcome. Stay with me because I'm going somewhere. This is not a legal accident, you all. It is part of the plan. Now, the ruling now requires proof of intentional discrimination, not outcomes, not documented impact, not patterns visible to any honest eye, intent. And it has handed every Republican-controlled state legislature a legal shield. They can now draw maps designed to dilute the black vote, dilute the brown vote, dilute the voting power, and dare anyone to prove they meant to do it. They just have to be careful about what goes in writing. See, there's no such thing as a race-neutral policy in a country where racism is a feature and not a bug. There's no such thing as a race-neutral policy in a country built on race-conscious oppression. To demand neutrality in a system built on inequality is to stand on the deck and tell a drowning man to swim harder. Now, there is a moral weight. When I speak of a moral weight, stay with me. And that moral weight is what Isaiah saw clearly. Isaiah chapter 10, verse 1 and 2. What sorrow awaits the unjust judges and those who issue unfair laws. They derive the poor of justice and deny the rights of the needy among my people. Sorrow, not criticism. Sorrow, the kind that precedes judgment. Now think about it. I'm here to sound the alarm. I'm sounding the alarm today. What you do with it is between you and God. Ezekiel chapter 33, verses 3 through 4. When the watchman sees the enemy coming, he sounds the alarm to warn the people. Then, if those who hear the alarm refuse to take warning and the enemy comes and kills them, the blood would be on their hands. That's Ezekiel 33, verses 3 through 4. So I'm sounding the alarm today. What you do with it is now between you and God. So here's what you must do today. Not next week, not before the next election. I want everyone to screenshot this. I want you to screenshot this. All right? I want you to go to Pedia. There's the link, pedia.org. Find your district, screenshot it. Or I want you to call 202, do this Monday, 224-3121, and let them know I'm watching. And when you go to ballotpedia.org, search your name and address. Find the exact boundaries of your congressional district, screenshot it, write it down, understand how your neighborhood was carved up, which communities were split apart, and which were packed together to dilute your power. Know your map. Know the map they drew for you. And then call a switchboard, the U.S. Capitol switchboard. That's right. You can do this. The U.S. Capitol switchboard. Ask for your representative by name and say 4 words, because some of y'all live in Republican districts. And say these 4 words. I'm watching every vote. You don't need to be an expert. You don't need a speech. You don't need to make them understand that you exist, that you know what will happen and you will remember. So we're done. We're done just being voters. God's calling us to shift. We're becoming monitors. Documentation is the first line of defense. So I leave you with the charge. Amos did not tell the people to feel better. He told them to act better. Amos chapter 5, verse 24. It says, instead, I want to see a mighty flood of justice, an endless river of righteous living. Amos chapter 5, verse 24. A flood doesn't arrive fully formed. It builds one drop, one stream, one season of rain at a time. And you are not responsible, or you are responsible for being one more drop. We've been in impossible places before, but yet we're still here. The trumpet has sounded. What you do now is your answer to God. Trumpet has sounded, and what you do now is your answer to God. So if you didn't catch anything I said, remember, Ballotpedia, call your congressional district. That's ballotpedia.org. See what your map looks like. Or call the Capitol switchboard, 202-224-3121. 3121. 4 words. I'm watching every vote. That's your assignment before the sun sets on Monday. If you don't catch anything else that I said today, screenshot this one, and I guarantee you it'll bless you indeed. Here's an overview of everything that I just said in my prophetic statement. From the deconstruction, the destruction of the Voting Rights Act, all the way to number 6, monitoring your vote. Screenshot this so you'll have a cheat code on what you need to do next. Can you do this? All right, you all, let's make it happen.